This is my first touch of a living psilocybe mushroom. This is a magic mushroom right here. So there are compounds in here that will make you hallucinate. Holy crud. In fact, this is a psilocybin-containing mushroom, which according to studies is as effective as the leading antidepressant medication. And the kind of cool thing about it is that it doesn't require daily doses. It's free if you know where to look, and it grows all around us. Many of you are well aware of this beautiful mushroom, but some of you may not be as familiar. Maybe you're a little bit curious about it. I feel like my role here as a biologist is just to bring up the misconceptions, break some stereotypes, and talk about the science that is really underlying why this mushroom is so powerful. That is why I am here in Jamaica. I actually grew up in the South. I'm a scientist through and through, but also do a lot within my church, and I love to explore Judeo-Christian archaeology. Definitely Moses passed through this area, right? I was 40 years old before I ever tried a psychoactive drug other than alcohol. I didn't even drink coffee. At my core, I'm an athlete. I focus on what I can do to live my best, most productive life. But around the time I hit 40, I started seeing the manifestation of a mental health crisis happening all around me. Now, I've probably only had just a few glimpses of what it might be like personally. I don't have depression. Yet it appeared so prominently in the others around me. In fact, I would say 75% of the people I know via filmmaking and the arts and music suffered from depression, anxiety, PTSD, traumas. And this mental health struggle even took the life of people very close to me. And while I understand that having good mental and physical health is in large part about a lifetime of setting yourself up for success, making decisions, and it's just really hard work, the idea that there is a mushroom out there that has been used culturally for millennia that seems to be better at addressing some of these things than our modern pharmaceuticals, that is fascinating. I should note that when I talked to my mom was not thrilled about this. In fact, she basically said, "Do not use drugs, Rob, because they will melt your brain." That is what I had to ask Irene.
It's definitely not going to melt your brain cells. Absolutely not. And there is a proof for that. We have so many years experience in clinical research, and we know how it works. We know for sure. We're not guessing.
Irene is our therapist, helping guide us through this journey. She has years and years of experience.
You want to get help, so try with a low dose, with the right settings, right facilitators, therapists, and you'll be fine. You'll be safe.
This is what we know so far. This mushroom does some interesting things within the brain. Here's a mind map of neural connections of a normal brain. Each color maps a different brain region. Here's the same brain on psilocybin. Essentially, it creates strong links all over the brain. It also turns down the default mode network, which is how we can ignore things that don't seem to be relevant at the time. By turning that off, people are often able to perceive things that they would never be able to perceive before. Colors are connected to smells and music, but it also makes it easier for people to connect the dots within their own brain. Now, before I go any further, I should note that I'm not promoting people go randomly experiment with any of this. I'm here to describe how it's done in a supervised setting. We are all working through this together with the help of a therapist. Trust in these people here is extremely important. Luckily, I gelled well because Irene was a pharmacist, and like me, she didn't really like what the standard drugs were doing to people, dampening emotions. And Trad is a scientist from Clemson who's very analytical, and I trusted that he was growing good mushrooms. And Pasha, who like myself is an athlete and is now serving to watch over the group, so he made sure we all felt safe. Point is, this medicine works differently. I had to wrap my head around that. You see, this approach of finding intention through this session like this, and then letting this medicine amplify your current state, is partly how it all works. Amazingly. But I was excited to figure out how this affects everyone here. Tomorrow's the day. So here's where the mushroom experience happens. We're wearing masks, laying on mats, with blankets. Knowing that it's a safe space is really important because that affects your own experience. That's what's so interesting about these mushrooms. Now, I decided my plan for the session was to just observe things, not document too much. I took notes in my notebook, but promised everyone else I wouldn't be filming their experience. After I handed my camera off to start this process, I put on my eye shades and my headphones. I went into a deep meditation. I'm going to try to describe better what it was like in the next video, but I will say for now, I understand why people create stock video clips just like this. It was intense, and honestly it was more of a feeling than a visual experience. Occasionally the others in the room would come over, put a hand on mine, let me know I was okay. A couple hours in, I thought the journey was over, so I walked outside. Smokes. And this, oddly, is where the real magic happened, and truly amazing conversations and insight ensued.
I went through what felt like an exorcism with Irene, who is a saint.
I don't think a lot of people have experienced it this way. It's special.
Very rewarding.
It was hard, and things come up that haven't been dealt with in a long time, but I feel like it was 1,000 years of therapy in 8 hours.
And what blew my mind is that when the mushrooms were taken in this way, it seemed that most people had a very powerful experience and then stated a pretty admirable takeaway.
And so it's given me a direction for how to go home and be a better dad, which is incredible. I was here really worried about being away from my family and my kids, and it's given me some relief that there was a big purpose to this.
I just want to be a good dad. I'm trying my best.
These powerful revelations, which seem obvious, are sticky too. Johns Hopkins researchers found that people trying to stop smoking had an 80% success rate after 6 months with use of psilocybin. Compare that to only 35% with those taking the leading smoking cessation drug. It's also helping people get over anxiety, depression, traumas, and end-of-life fears. And it helps people make the changes they want to make. That's cool. And I still don't know how to explain what's happening.
This is a medicine for healing. Really meets you where you are. Allows you to receive what you're ready for. This is ancient wisdom, ancient knowledge and access that we have when we can move beyond just thinking about it as a drug. Calls in the curious souls, ones who have tried everything, right? And it's available in here for whoever and whenever you want to explore.
And that's it. We're done. Now it's clear that this mushroom isn't this bad thing that people have portrayed it as. While we're still understanding how it works, we know it can help a lot of people if used in the right way. So here I am at the integration bonfire, writing down with everyone else the things I want to move past, and then tossing it in the fire. Now, I'm not sure how I created such a bond in 3 days with the people here, but I think we all share a vision for a brighter future. I hope more people can experience this. So how now could I not want to share this, the science, and this experience with others? Because I do think if people opened up to this and explored their mind in this way, it really would make the world a better, more loving place for all of us. It really is a medicine if used right.
And all the people that we did it with were warm and wonderful and courageous, and it's just awesome.
It was good to do it with you too. I don't know, I just feel kind of excited that I can make a video about this now while it's fairly new and not everybody knows about it already.